Well, good afternoon, my dear students. In the last class, we could able to discuss the gentleman of the jungle, and today we'll discuss the schoolboy by William Blake. My dear students, before going to start the outline story of the poem The Schoolboy, let us discuss the introduction about Mr. William Blake. William Blake, who belonged to late 17th century and beginning of the 18th century, who was a poet and a painter, who is famous for some of his works in the sense here, not any novels or novellas and short story writings, but William Blake is famous for writing pastorals. I mean the poems which are related to the traditional style of cultures or rural areas lifestyles. My dear students, particularly he is famous, William Blake is famous for writing pastoral tradition poems. So here, songs of experience, songs of innocence, the poetical sketches, and the marriages of heaven and hell, these are all famous poems by Mr. William Blake. My dear students, this is an extract from The Schoolboy, is an extract from Songs of Experience. Songs of Experience, which was published in the year 1794. Songs of Experience. My dear students, this is an extract, I mean it is one of the parts. Songs of Experience, it is a set of poems. Songs of Experience is set of poems. In that many poems are there, and The Schoolboy is one of the poems, and it is a lyric. What it is exactly? It is a lyric. Lyric in the sense, usually lyric is nothing but it is a song. What kind of song? When it comes to poetry, there are different forms: elegy, ode, sonnet, and even other forms. When it comes to here, lyric in the sense, the literature, either it is in the form of poetry or prose, but when we convert it into the songs, then it becomes lyric. My dear students, before we make or compose a song, we need to have a literature of any language, either it is from English, Latin, Germany, or Greek, or any other languages. But lyric, The Schoolboy is a lyric. In what form it is? It is in the form of lyric. The Schoolboy is in the form of lyric. So, song of emotions and feelings of a boy. Lyric in the sense here, it is filled with full of emotions and feelings of a particular person. Usually here in this poem, the schoolboy talks about his own difficulties, impediments, in what way he overcomes the difficulties and how he is trying to face them without any kind of enjoyment in his schooling particularly. My dear students, you should remember one thing here. The schoolboy, the poet Mr. William Blake himself only becomes the schoolboy and expresses his desires, expresses his troublesome things. In what way? He is not able to enjoy through this formal schooling. How it is going to curb him? How it is going to stop him from enjoying his life with the nature? That is how Mr. William Blake has described in this poem. Well, my dear students, there are totally 6 stanzas are there in this poem, and let us now discuss it. The schoolboy, right at the beginning itself, the very first stanza talks about when the schoolboy wakes up early in the morning, especially in the summer, he wakes up and he loves to enjoy the day. Meanwhile, he finds that the birds on every tree who will be singing the songs, and he will be having the birds like skylark, and huntsman is also there, who will be accompanying him, who will be accompanying the poet, the schoolboy here in the first stanza. And moving on to the second stanza. In the second stanza, the boy, if he wants to go to school, it becomes rather tired. Why it becomes disappointed for him? Because he doesn't want to get control. He should not get anybody's control. He should not come under anybody's control, especially a teacher who has the cruel eye on him. He doesn't want to have such observation. He should be left freely. He wants freedom now to enjoy his childhood days. And he becomes completely disappointed without getting any joy or delightness. My dear students, coming to the third stanza. In the third stanza, the boy does not get any joy or happiness. Neither he becomes happy by reading the book, nor through playing the sports in the school. In this way, he spends with full of unhappiness. He is completely controlled with set of rules and regulations which are made by the school atmosphere. And he doesn't get any joyful atmosphere from the school. That's the reason he spends with full of joylessness. And my dear students, coming to now next fourth stanza. This fourth stanza is filled with full of only again like a caged bird. Why? His life has become like a caged bird. How? A bird which is kept in the pigeon, and like in the sense, once the bird is kept in the cage, he cannot go out of it. Pigeon box, not pigeon box. Once the bird is kept in the cage, how it cannot have any freedom? In the same way, the boy's life also has become very difficult. My dear students, the boy's life has become very difficult. Why the boy's life has become very difficult over here? Because he doesn't get anybody's support, neither he gets the enjoyment nor he gets any kind of environment or atmosphere. In this way he loses his age and entire spring is seized. He loses his entire youth in this way only which is filled with full of sorrow and dismay. Well, my dear students, coming to the fifth stanza, it talks about only how he asks to the parents, if the birds are nipped, definitely the blossoms are blown away. One does not get any delightness through making the day more beautiful. Why it makes the boy to be out of this world. Tender plants are completely stripped. They have become completely empty. How can we expect the fruitful days and happiness for the boy or in the life of the boy? So he becomes completely disappointed and despaired. Well, my dear students, coming to the sixth stanza. In the sixth stanza, in the last stanza, the boy expresses that if there is no happiness, if it continues in the full of disappointment or only dismay, definitely there will be no fruits, there will be no flowers, and this summer does not create any mellowing year, any fruitful years. And in this way, the entire summer turns into winter. Winter appears. The old age appears. From youth to old age appears, but the boy did not enjoy. The boy did not get any freedom or liberty. The boy did not have any kind of freedom to look into other activities. As far as the poem is concerned here, the William Blake expresses the saddest thoughts and feelings that why he could not able to enjoy his childhood life by involving into different kinds of activities, that is co-curricular activities, including these curricular activities. If only curricular activities are there in my life, definitely I will be losing my entire life, which will be not worthful, which will not be worthy, which will be worthless again. That's the reason. That is the reason the poet expresses very sadly that he loses his life in this way without any happiness, without any delightness, and without any joy, and without any creativity, and without any newness, and without any fruitfulness, and without any celebrations. Hope you have understood the outline story of the poem, The Schoolboy, my dear students. Now let us discuss the poem, The Schoolboy. But before that, we need to discuss William Blake. What is his background? William Blake, from 1757 to 1827, poet and painter, was born in Soviet, the son of Hosier in the sense, one who is involved in knitted clothing. One who is involved in embroidery works or tailoring works. Even he was a painter and a poet, that's pretty sure, right? He had little formal education but was apprenticed to James Desire. He took the training from James Bezier, an eminent engraver, a skilled worker. Engraver means a skilled worker who can inscribe designs. Yes. My dear students, who can inscribe designs means who will make the different kinds of, yes, paintings, and who can make different designs on the clothes here, right? Who can make different designs. He is called as engravers. Well, and then sent into the Royal Academy. He took training with the help of Mr. James Bezier, and afterwards he was sent to Royal Academy. Next, his finest work as an artist is the series Inventions to the Book of Job. As an artist, he wrote some of the poems called Inventions to the Book of Job. I mean, how the different opportunities are there, how different jobs are there. He wrote a book on it, and his collections of poetry include Poetical Sketches 1783. This is also one of his works, Poet into Poetry section. Songs of Innocence 1789. It is one of the famous poems which had given him a great name and fame, and of course it has become an extra feather to the William Blake. And Songs of Innocence 1789, these couple of poems have made him more popular and well-known figure in the history of English literature in the late 17th century. Marriage of Heaven and Hell 1790 and Songs of Experience 1794, which the poem is extracted. My dear students, as I told you a little while ago, this poem is extracted from what? Songs of Experience, which is published in the year 1794. And the schoolboy is a lyric from the Songs of Experience. The words of song, as I told you people, the words of song. Lyric means the words of song. Well, my dear students, now let us go to the poem, The Schoolboy. Pre-reading activity. Recall your school days. What memories do you have of them? Recall your school days. Share your experiences with others. Some people, some students have had different experiences. Some students did not have any experiences. Some students' life is dealt with seriousness. They had to go with the tougher times, troublesome days. And some boys and girls, some students in their schooling days had wonderful days, jovial days, or they would have enjoyed already with their schoolmates, spending a lot of time with them, and at the same time they traveled to the different tourist spots or places. And some students, in some students' life, no traveling, no enjoyment, no jovial moments, and no enjoyment at all. Their life itself had taught them what is the reality in their life. Obviously, my dear students, perhaps you have come to know already, in this pandemic COVID-19, most of the people, especially when it comes to teaching and learning process, I mean teachers and students, so have suffered a lot. Many teachers and students have come across with communication gap particularly, and even when it comes for their jobs and all, many teachers have lost their jobs, and students too. Many students earlier they could enjoy their childhood, but since this virus had entered into our country, many students stopped their enjoying days and started their working days, and they started to work because they were not much enough to run the family with their parents' income. There are such instances that we have come across, my dear students. This is one of the poems which will give you the realistical point of view in what perspective you receive it, in what way you receive it. It is going to give you, but the poem definitely is going to give you the best example of your childhood days life, in what way you could spend earlier and how we are going to, have now. Let us come to the first stanza now. I love to rise in a summer morn when the birds sing on every tree. The distant huntsman winds his horn and the skylark sings with me. Oh, what a sweet company! My dear students, it's truly wonderful. And since it is lyric in English literature, if I sing this with first stanza, it would be more mellifluous for the students, obviously. I love to rise in a summer morn when the birds sing on every tree. The distant huntsman winds his horn and the skylark sings with me. Oh, what a sweet company. My dear students, why I sang this? Because lyric will be like that. The poet, he himself becomes boy over here, and in the summer morning he wakes up when the birds are singing on every tree. The distant huntsman who is having association with the nature, he comes, and at the same time he is calling the birds. He is blowing his horn. Meanwhile, he finds that the skylark is also going to sing the song. Yes, with me. That's the reason the poet says that, what a beautiful company, what a sweet company I have over here today. It's wonderful truly. Summer morning when the boy wakes up, he finds that on every tree there is a bird, and at the same time distant huntsman is blowing the horn. And obviously, skylark is also singing at the same time. And after seeing this environment, the boy says that, what a beautiful, what a wonderful atmosphere it is, which cannot be just denied. It will definitely make us to forget ourselves, my dear students. And coming to the second stanza now. But to go to school on a summer morn, going to school on a summer morn, I mean morning, summer morn in the sense, morning. Going to school in a summer morning. Oh, with dry joy away. Why it removes the joy? If a boy wants to go to school, why he is saying that his joy will be out of him, I mean his life, because under a cruel eye outward in the sense eyes of the teacher that actually controls him or tires the boy, my dear students, outward, a cruel eye outward. My dear students, eyes of the teacher that actually tires the boy. Who tires the boy? I mean a teacher. A teacher will definitely tires the boy. Eyes of the teacher that actually tires the boy. I mean, he becomes tired. Who becomes tired? The boy becomes tired here because he wants to go to school. That too in a summer morning. He doesn't want to go. In sighing and dismay, the little ones spend the time. The little ones spend the time in sighing and dismay. Sighing means to take a long breath. Take a long breath. In sighing and dismay, dismay means discouragement. Dismay means discouragement. My dear students, one thing you should remember every time. When you are reading a poem, you have to understand the words and their meanings also. Little one spends his time with full of tension, not with attention, and only disappointment, sadness. Very sadly he will be sitting in the school. There will be no joy. He doesn't get any kind of interest. He is not at all interested. He is completely disinterested and dissatisfied. Obviously. At times I drooping sit. He becomes very sad. I mean, drooping in the sense becomes sad or weak. Drooping means here. Becoming very sad or weak. Becoming very sad or weak. He becomes very sad. Who becomes very sad? The boy becomes very sad here. Why? He doesn't want to go to school in a summer morning. In this way, he doesn't have any intention to attend the classes, since he says that he wants to enjoy his childhood with this nature. My dear students, underline both the stanzas. And coming to now the third stanza. And spend many an anxious hour. Many an anxious hour. Anxious means nervousness. Anxious means nervousness. Anxious means nervousness. My dear students, he spends with full of nervousness, weakness. There is no strength in his mind and physical appearance. Nor in my book can I take delight. I cannot take any happiness, and I am not happy by reading the book. Yeah. Nor sit in a learning's bower. Learning's bower is metaphor for school garden. Learning's bower. Learning's bower. Metaphor for the school. Metaphor for here he doesn't get any environment, neither any environment in the sense, he doesn't get a joyful or jovial environment in the school atmosphere, particularly whether he is going to get through books or through different activities. He is totally spending with full of anxiety. Nor sit in learning's power. Neither he is enjoying from the books, by attending the classes by reading the book, nor through playing any games in the school. Never. In this way, worn through with the dreary shower, tiresome aspects of the school. Dreary shower means tiresome aspects of the school. He becomes tired. Becomes totally tired. Worn through means aged through. Worn through means aged through. In this way, he just become aged. Who becomes aged? The boy becomes aged. He will be passing his childhood life. He does not get any other activity. He will not be able to express any of his internal feelings. Neither he is getting friends to share his difficulties or sorrow, nor the atmosphere is making him to express his sadness. Never, nowhere. He is completely put into such an atmosphere where he is not able to express anything. He cannot enjoy his entire childhood life by attending school or through the classes. Well, my dear students, please underline now. Stanza 3. How can the bird that is born for joy sit in a cage and sing? How can the bird that is born for joy? How can you expect that when the bird is completely caged? Yes, it is put into pigeon pox. Or if you put into a golden cage or silver cage or iron cage, and if you provide it with the white peas or breadcrumbs, does it eat and sing a song melodiously? No, never. What needs the bird? The bird needs the freedom. The bird needs freedom, liberty, not the oppression. My dear students, the bird needs independence, not slavery. The bird needs what? Independence, not slavery. That's what in this way, the boy's life has become like a caged bird, as if the boy is put into a jail. He has been put into a prison. Yes. How can a child when fears annoy? Annoy means irritate, bother. Why can't you find that the boy, yes, the boy will be very much happy. Annoy, the boy will get irritated by seeing this atmosphere. But droop his tender wing. In this way he loses youth days. Definitely tender wing and forget his youthful spring. In this way he loses his life, his childhood life, and his youth is completely lost from him without any achievement, without all-round development. If the boy wants to grow in his life from all the areas, he must be strong physically, mentally, socially, ethically. From all the angles, from all the areas, he has to be developed. Such an atmosphere should be provided to him. But here we are not going to see any atmosphere for this boy, the school boy over here. In this way, he loses his entire life, my dear students. Well, stanza 4, first 2 lines, get it underlined, and last line as well. Oh father and mother, if buds are nipped in the sense squeezed, completely. If they are even squeezed, another meaning also we can write pinched. Squeezed. If buds are nipped and blossoms are blown away, the young saplings, young small tree, saplings, if the plant is completely killed at the tender age, at its small age, can you find later on any fruits, any flowers? No way at all. If the tender plants are stripped, if you make them completely empty, stripped in the sense, if the tender plants are made empty, can you get any fruits from them? It's highly impossible, my dear students. That's all. If the tender plants are stripped of their joy in the springing day, especially they must be given the happiness in the spring season. Otherwise, they may not get any kind of happiness or joy. There will be no delightness, but by only sorrow and care is dismay. Again, they are filled with full of sorrow and disappointment and despairedness. Nobody will enjoy their school days if their school is completely going to provide them full of tension and tiresome aspects of activities. Well, my dear students, in this way, the boy becomes completely, which boy? The school boy becomes completely tired of listening to the same thing. And he is completely disappointed. He does not get any newness in his life. He loses his freedom. He becomes like a stagnant water, not like a flowing water, a water which is flown from one place to another. At the same time, it will have its purity. If the water which has become stagnant, definitely it will be polluted. Here the boy's life has become like a polluted water, like a stagnant water. He is not at all exposed to the external world, outside world. If he is not allowed to live outside, in the nature to play and to give him many opportunities to grow from all the areas, and how can we expect something from him finally or ultimately? It is completely injustice. I mean, the system itself is injustice. I mean, today's educational system is completely injustice. I mean, irrational. It is not rational. It is completely opposite to the boys' development, my dear students. Well, let us go to the last stanza. My dear students, please underline fifth stanza, first 2 lines. How shall the summer arise in joy? Can you expect any joy in summer? You can't expect any joy in the summer. Or the summer's fruits appear. Can you expect any joy? And are there any fruits which will appear? No, never. Or how shall we gather what griefs destroy? Yes. How shall we gather what griefs destroy the sense? How shall we collect that? In what way the sadness is being destroyed? No, never at all. Only sadness is being collected. Only the life of the boy is filled with full of sadness and disappointment. Nowhere it is destroyed. No joy at all in the summer morning. No fruits at all in the summer morning. No flowers at all in the summer morning. And are blessed the mellowing year. Can you bless the mellowing year? Can you bless the fruitful days in a summer? No, never, not at all. Nowhere. Perhaps you may feel that you are in the summer, but you cannot expect whatever your mind and heart are going to expect from the nature. When you are put into a prison, when you are put into a cage, when you are not at all having any independence, or when you are not having any liberty. Well, my dear students, when the blasts of winter appear, in this way, the summer turns into winter. I mean, the season may change, but the atmosphere may not change. In the schoolboy's life, the seasons are going to be changed one after the other. But the schoolboys, the school atmosphere is not at all changed. Why? It's because of we have made a set of rules and regulations. We are not trying to change. We are not trying to give him a wonderful atmosphere, a brightening and colorful atmosphere for the schoolboy to develop from all the areas. I mean, we are not expecting his all-round development. We are expecting only his intellectual development. That is the reason the schoolboy is unable to become prosperous in his life. I mean, completely developed, completely successful, completely achieved in his life. And his development is curbed, his development is stopped, his development is completely paused. So, there will be no newness, there will be no creativity at all in the schoolboy's life. So, if in this way the schoolboy's life is continuously run for several years, definitely the boy does not get any happiness, my dear students. So, in the today's educational system, how the school going children are going to learn the things. They do not have any creativity at all. They are mugged up everything. They don't use their brain. Only they are using their brain when they are being enforced. So that should not happen. They should be always like flowing water. They should be like instant coffee. And they should not get any kind of they should not be oppressed. They should not be tortured. They should not be under any kind of influences. So that only the school boy or the today's children will be able to develop from all the areas and their life will be more successful in future. That's all. This is the poem, The School Boy by William Blake. My dear students, hope you have understood my today's class, The School Boy by William Blake. Please keep studying regularly at home itself, so that you will be able to update the things. Otherwise, there will be a lot of communication gap. And please, whenever you watch the video, you keep the textbook in front of you and go through the lines, so that you will be able to understand the interpretations which are made by me, so that it will be much easier for you people, right? Thank you very much for listening to today's video, and keep watching first year PU English classes through Sri Guru Independent PU online classes. Please subscribe Sri Guru Independent PU online classes. Thank you very much once again.